Radio Rahim here with my last fight night of the year. Cheers. New Year's, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, everything. This is a perfect way to end the year, honestly. The heavyweight division rounded us out perfectly. What an amazing night tonight. Two fighters that came 100% game and gave their best. How did you feel about the performance of each guy? I mean, in some way or another, you have a special relationship with both.
I have a massive amount of respect for both because they're two guys that will fight anyone. Look, I'm obviously a salesman, and people know that, so I get booed sometimes. But when you make a fight, particularly a rematch, you hope that it lives up to the first fight. I believed it would, but there's always that doubt that if it's shit, I'm going to get it in the neck, you know. So when it's as good as that, when it's better than the first one, when it's more dramatic than the first one, when you see one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen live, you know, it's great for boxing, it's great for us, it's great for Dillian Whyte, but, you know, even Chisora, people love Chisora. He's a fucking warrior, and he will not quit. I mean, he had to basically get put unconscious tonight to stop him coming. And that's what Dillian Whyte done. And Chisora was winning the fight on the judges' scorecard. So it was just an amazing fight, an amazing atmosphere, and like you say, just a brilliant end to what has been just a mad, mad year of boxing. You
say that Chisora was winning the fight. That was also the feeling ringside. So not just on the cards, in the arena, it felt like...
I mean, with the 2 points, I felt like it was about even going into the 11th. So, but I did feel like Whyte was the guy who had more chance of ending it because he was very composed. He kept his shape well in the fight. Chisora was rugged like he always is. But, you know, particularly from rounds, I mean, Chisora was nearly out in the first round. Got hit with a right hand. He was gone. And, you know, he came back like all throughout that mid-period of the fight. Relentless pressure. And, you know, he's a brave man. I have a lot of respect for Dereck Chisora.
As much as fighters, as a promoter, you've kind of got to keep a poker face yourself. As this fight got late, and it was possible that Dillian could be losing it, knowing what you put on the line, knowing you didn't have to take this fight, we were starting to sweat it a bit.
Yeah, but I did believe that Dillian Whyte could stop him. And I know we're in the 11th round, but I did get that feeling. I did feel like the fight was turning. Dillian, you know, once he made the decision to take this fight, it was always a massive risk. Because he's number one with the WBC, he's number one with the WBO. He doesn't have to take risk fights, and this was a risk fight. And I think he was a bit flat tonight, Dillian, by his own admission, but probably because Chisora was so good. You know, the pressure that he was applying constantly, it wasn't easy to deal with. So, again, massive respect to both.
You know, when a promoter has a big stable, as you do, and guys are good, they're going to start to butt heads. We had Anthony Joshua ringside, being Anthony Joshua, you know, quite posh, composed, well-spoken, everything was fine until Dillian got the microphone.
They called him a lanky...
a-hole.
Yeah.
So that actually got his dutter, you know.
I've never seen AJ get on an apron before.
Right. I've never seen him get called out and get upset like that.
One of the first things is, you know, unfortunately for AJ, he told the truth. What the crowd wanted him to say was, I'll fight you, Dillian. But what he said was, if I can't get Fury and Wilder, I'll fight you. And it was like, boo! But he was just being honest. That's what he wants. So, and that doesn't necessarily work in your favour sometimes. With Dillian, he will turn around and say, I'm not third choice. You know, so listen, nothing's easy, but we'll see what happens. The priority for AJ is to fight Wilder. I would love to see Dillian get a shot at AJ. I think it's a great fight. I think he deserves it. And we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
Well, where I was going with that is, how do you keep everybody happy? I mean, obviously, everybody wants a shot at the champ.
There'll always be people. I mean, you see Dillian's comments, oh, you know, AJ's your boy. He's the biggest star in world boxing. Obviously, he's very important to our business. But Dillian's very important to our business, as are all the other fighters in the camp. Answer, how do you keep everyone happy? It's not easy.
Yeah.
You know, but we've done a great job for Dillian. He's done 2 massive pay-per-views, shows himself that he's headlined, or 3 if you include the Joshua fight, and he's doing massive numbers. So, and he's always in entertaining fights. So he has a high stock in the division.
It seems like Dillian Whyte, Joshua would be highly unlikely for April. I mean, nothing's impossible. It doesn't seem likely. So with that said, Usyk's name has been bandied about. You've got Baby Miller over there in New York. What, if not Joshua, do you think would be the best move for Dillian Whyte, not just economically, but brand-wise? How do you make him a star?
Dillian has fights like Brazil, like Ortiz, like Jarrell Miller. He's in a good place, like he can have pay-per-view fights. He's selling out arenas. He's ranked #1. He's in a good place right now. He's had a busy year. He's boxed Lucas Brown, Joseph Parker, and Dereck Chisora. He's had a good year. So he's going to be fine, and I think he'll be WBO mandatory at the back end of the year. So he'll get his shot. He's got to stay patient and keep improving.
Lastly, a couple of your, I don't know what we call them, clients, fighters, friends, business associates are definitely taking trash talk to the next level.
Which ones are they?
Obviously, it's Amir Khan, I guess Amir Khan, but in relation to Kell Brook. You've had a long relationship with Kell Brook. Obviously, you've got them both now. How do you manage that madness? And, is there anything to it? Like, how does this get resolved when it gets that personal?
No, nothing gets resolved. It gets worse. And if we make the fight, it will get worse and worse. He's still like that whether he fights Crawford or Brook, but it's very personal. Very personal. Sometimes there's like, you have a press conference and you don't like someone and you push them, but this is like years and years and years. And it's really, really personal. So it's going to get a lot worse. So, we'll leave them to it. We'll see if we can make the fight and hopefully they get a chance to settle it in the ring.
Radio Rahim, letting you go. Maybe this is our shortest interview ever because it's the end of the year. You've been so generous with your time and so wonderful with your promotions.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for a wonderful year. Radio Rahim, Eddie Hearn.